Victorian England, a world obsessed with appearances where beauty masked secrets and society judged by surface alone. In this world, Dorian Gray emerged, impossibly handsome and captivating. He moved through London's elite, admired and envied. But potential can lead to greatness or ruin. London, with its strict morals and hidden decadence, was the perfect stage for his story. Wealth and privilege shielded Dorian, making him vulnerable to dangerous ideas, especially those promising eternal youth. His beauty was his greatest asset and his greatest risk. All it took was a portrait and a dangerous friendship to set tragedy in motion. The stage was set for a story of beauty, temptation, and the cost of desire. Dorian Gray, a name soon to be whispered in awe and in fear. His story was about to begin. Basil Hallward, a gifted painter, found his muse in Dorian Gray. Dorian's beauty inspired Basil's masterpiece, a portrait capturing innocence itself. Into this sanctuary stepped Lord Henry Wotton, a man of wit and dangerous ideas. Lord Henry saw Dorian as an experiment, a mind to shape. His words dripped with temptation. Beauty fades, youth is fleeting, pleasure is all. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it, he urged. Dorian listened, troubled and fascinated as Lord Henry's philosophy took root. Basil sensed the danger, but the damage was done. Dorian became acutely aware of his own perfection and its inevitable loss. The portrait neared completion, a stunning reflection of youth. But as Dorian gazed at it, a terrible longing grew. Lord Henry's influence was irresistible, promising freedom from society's constraints. The seeds of Dorian's downfall were sown. The portrait would soon become a curse. The portrait was finished, a triumph of art, a mirror of Dorian's youth. Lord Henry's words haunted Dorian. Beauty would fade, youth would die. In a moment of desperation, Dorian wished the portrait would age, instead of him offering his soul for eternal youth. Unseen forces listened. The wish was granted. Lord Henry's influence deepened, urging Dorian to chase pleasure and ignore morality. Dorian's first cruel act shattered an innocent heart, Sybil Vane's. Her suicide marked the first stain on his soul. Dorian noticed a change in the portrait, a hint of cruelty, a shadow of guilt. Horrified, then fascinated, he realized his wish had come true. The painting would bear the marks of his sins, he would remain flawless. This secret became his shield and his curse. Dorian plunged into a life of indulgence, knowing the portrait would hide his corruption. Each sin, each betrayal, twisted the image on the canvas. The portrait became his hidden conscience, a silent accuser. Dorian's beauty masked a growing darkness within. The line between pleasure and destruction blurred. The portrait was no longer just art, it was his soul's mirror. Dorian's descent had begun, and there was no turning back. The cost of eternal youth was only beginning to reveal itself. Dorian embraced his new reality, seeking beauty and sensation at any cost. He explored London's shadows and salons, becoming infamous for his charm and his ruinous influence. Whispers followed him, but his appearance never changed. The portrait, hidden away, grew monstrous with every sin. Dorian visited it in secret, both horrified and fascinated by its decay. The canvas reflected every cruelty, every betrayal, every lost shred of humanity. Society was baffled by his agelessness. Some envied, others suspected. Dorian drew others into his world, often to their destruction. He blackmailed Alan Campbell, forced him to cover up murder, Basil's murder. The artist who created the portrait died by Dorian's hand, his devotion repaid with violence. The painting bore the blood of this ultimate sin. In public, Dorian was grace itself. In private, he was haunted by the grotesque image. The portrait was his conscience, but instead of repentance it fed his vanity. He lived a double life, outwardly perfect, inwardly damned. The weight of his secret grew, but his fear of aging was stronger. Dorian chose illusion over truth, the mask over redemption. The portrait festered, a nightmare hidden from the world, and Dorian clung to his beauty no matter the cost. Years passed, but Dorian remained unchanged, youthful, untouched by time. The portrait, locked away, became a monstrous record of his sins. Every cruelty, every betrayal, every cowardice was etched upon it. Dorian's life of pleasure brought only emptiness and fear. Haunted by his victims, Basil, Sybil, Alan, he sought solace, even tried to change. A single good deed changed nothing. The portrait only revealed new hypocrisy. There was no escape from his true nature. One night, unable to bear it, Dorian resolved to destroy the painting. He seized the knife, the same one that killed Basil, and stabbed the canvas. A terrible cry rang out. The servants found a shocking scene, the portrait restored to its original beauty. On the floor lay a withered, hideous old man, Dorian Gray, unrecognizable but for his rings. In trying to destroy his soul's reflection, Dorian destroyed himself. The magic was undone, the price of vanity paid in full. Outward beauty cannot conceal inner corruption forever. The portrait was his reality, his judgment, his end. Morality cannot be cheated. The soul bears the true record of our lives. Dorian Gray's story was a warning, the cost of denying the truth within.